This video is for graduate study purposes only. This counseling session is not a real counseling session. Mr. and Mrs. Wright, I appreciate you guys coming in this afternoon. Whenever I spoke with you, Mrs. Wright, on the phone, doing a little bit of intake information, you indicated that there was anxiety, a little bit of stress going on within the marriage. Can you give me some background information on that, if you don't mind, please?
Well, I work full-time. My husband, we were lucky enough where he was able to stay at home and take care of our son. And it's just, I work in a very stressful job. It's very high, intense, and it's very fast-paced. And then when I come home, I just want to come home and relax. But I still have to come home and cook and clean and take care of my son. And I get stressed out with that because it's like I should be able to come home and at least have 10-15 minutes to relax and just be able to get myself together, so that way I'm not sitting there taking out my stress on my family. But I'm not getting that opportunity because my husband feels like the minute I walk through the door, I need to be at home taking care of them.
Okay. So I hear what you're saying, and let me make sure I understand everything correctly. You work in a high-stress job, work full-time. When you come home, you would like to be able to have a little bit of downtime, but you're expected to come home, take care of the household responsibilities, including the baby, and you feel very unappreciated by your spouse. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Wright, can you give me a little bit of background information on your part?
She just comes home and the baby wants her and doesn't want nothing to do with me because he wants his mama for that time before he goes to sleep or whatever. And then and then cleaning and everything, I try to help out and everything, but then it ends up in a conflict. So.
Okay, so what I hear you say is that, of course, when she comes home, the baby just wants mom, which that's natural because of the mother and child bond. You do attempt to help out, but it ends up in a bit of a argument. Now, what is it that you do try to do around the house?
Wash dishes, clean the house as much as I can while I'm watching him and taking care of the dog and everything.
Okay. So, besides the dishes, could you maybe give me a little bit of a breakdown on what you're doing all day?
Cook for him and feed him all day, and then give him snacks and everything, take him outside to play, and then play with him in the floor, and take the dog and them both outside and let them run and play.
Okay. All right. So, do you ever start dinner for her? Do you ever cook for her?
We take turns cooking every once in a while, and then, that's about it, really.
Okay. All right. So, Mrs. Wright, I hear what he's saying is that he does try to do some cooking or some cleaning, and he's spending all day taking the baby outside and everything. What could you give me a little bit of, or give him a little bit of what your expectations would be when you're gone to work to come home to, as far as the house and everything?
Well, honestly, he's been getting better about keeping the kitchen and the living room clean, which are the two main areas that we're in. But like laundry and stuff, because he hates when I do laundry. So I feel like, okay, well, if you don't like how I do it, then you just need to get it done.
Okay, and so does he do that?
I don't know, there's still a basket of clothes in the other bedroom that's been there for a week.
Clean or dirty?
Clean.
Clean?
Mm-hmm.
So when he does do laundry, he doesn't fold it and put away? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
No, he doesn't. He waits till I get home to do it.
Okay, so now on your intake paperwork, it said that you work at a treatment facility?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So give me a little bit of a breakdown of what your day may consist of, so maybe he can have a better understanding of how stressful your job is.
I I have to be at my job by 6:20 in the morning. I go behind a wire fence gate, and then I have to go through a bunch of checkpoints before I actually get back to my office area. And then we have a shift briefing before we're supposed to go to the dorm, and then we only have 10 minutes, if that, to get back through 3 or 4 sealed gates before we even get to our hallway to get to the dorm, which is sealed, and we have to wait for the doors to roll. And so that stop and wait stuff gets stressful because I get in trouble every time I'm late getting to my dorm because it's in conflict with our company's contracts. And so then I'm having to, right through the get-go, deal with whether or not I'm going to get wrote up that day or get complained at. And then I'm dealing with 56 offenders, and by offenders I'm talking about men who have felonies of all different various types, from aggravated assaults, rape, murder charges, thefts, all of that, burglaries. And these men are all in one room, one big room that I'm supposed to teach for 4 hours, of different attitudes. I'm continuously being disrespected, continuously having to redirect them, and it gets tiring and exhausting. I'm around people, men, all day long who are disrespectful idiots who do not even know what the word respect means. And then after teaching them for 4 hours, which is draining, I go back to my office, and 9 out of 10 I only have 15-25 minutes to get my stuff put up together before I go to lunch. And then I only have an hour to de-stress from the morning I just had and recoup to go back to work, and then try to see a couple people on my caseload. I have a caseload of 25, and I have to do all their paperwork along with doing case management work and filing and records keeping. And then we get complained at and bitched at about stuff like that. And then go back and down the hallways to see our offenders, and while we're in there, deal with officers and offenders who are disrespectful, rude, and it's just a constant mental battle.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that you come home every day and you are literally mentally exhausted.
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes.
Okay. I understand, where you're coming from. So now, Mr. Wright, would you say that staying at home and working around the house, would you say that and taking care of the baby is mentally exhausting or kind of relaxing?
It's more exhausting than relaxing, but yeah. I don't know, I enjoy it. I mean, I work full-time jobs and I love working, but I do oil changes around here, and I do all the car maintenance and everything, and all the stuff that needs to be done as man work, around the house. I do it, but I lack in the kitchen area and everything else that women usually do, I guess, or we suspect they do.
Okay, so have you guys ever watched the movie Mr. Mom?
No.
Okay, you guys should find that movie and watch it. It's really hilarious. It's about a stay-at-home dad that he's responsible for taking care of the kids, taking them to the doctor, running the errands, and everything else. And he finds out it's not as easy as he thinks it is. What I'd like to know is, how can you help her be able to come home and unwind a little bit without having to go straight to cooking and stuff like that? Tell me what you can do to help her in that instance. Because obviously she gets off early.
Right.
So what are some changes that you think that you could do that would help her?
I could start dinner or something, or get it laid out and get ready to be cooked. Prepping work, I guess, is what I'm saying. Get it all prepped out for her and try to keep him from not crying and wanting his mama right when she walks in the door. I don't know, that's hard.
Exactly. So, Mrs. Wright, do you feel like the baby wanting to come straight to you, is that more stressful for you when you come home? Or is that kind of a little bit of where you can play with him and...
That doesn't bother me. I enjoy that, like because that's what I look forward to, because that helps, like seeing all three of them waiting for me at the door and they're happy, and it makes it worth the hell that I just went through for 9 hours. It's just like what stresses me is when I come home and I'm in the middle of cooking and cleaning up the kitchen at the same time. That way there's not so much to do afterwards. And that's always when Blaze starts crying and he gets right underneath you. And he don't want daddy at all. He just wants mom to pick him up. But I don't like picking him up because normally I'm cooking stuff and I don't want him getting hurt. And that's normally a time where Tony's looking stuff up on the phone, and that's what gets aggravating. Because it's the same thing every day. We have the same routine basically every day. And I just feel like if he would just grab Blaze up, because he's good about getting Blaze's attention and like getting him occupied. And that's what I appreciate about him. Because he can do things with Blaze that me and Blaze don't do well together. But that's like daddy and son bond.
Like wrestling on the floor and stuff like that?
Like me and Blaze do that. Like I'll put him on my back and stuff. But Tony has a different way of dealing with him than I do. And I feel like if Tony can do that while I'm cooking, then it will make things a lot easier.
Okay. So, Mr. Wright, did you hear what your wife just said?
Yes.
Can I get you to repeat that back to her, sir?
Just kind of play with Blaze and get his attention and keep him occupied while she does stuff.
Does what specifically?
Like while she's cooking, just wrestle with him or play cards with him and or go outside or something.
Okay.
And keep him
So, if he puts the phone down and entertains the baby while you prepare dinner, would that help alleviate some of your overwhelming and anxiety that you feel?
Yes. That's one of the biggest issues that we have on a daily basis. And if that's alleviated, then 9 out of 10 times we have a peaceful night.
Okay. So, as far as doing anything relaxing together.
What do you mean? Like just me and him?
We don't get that very much.
Yeah, because we don't have anybody to watch Blaze.
Okay. So there's not any neighborhood teenagers or anything
I'm not
like that?
having a teenager watch my kid.
Well, didn't you watch kids when you were a teenager, Miss Wright?
No. Mm-mm.
No?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And you indicated that you don't have any family like right here nearby. What
All
about?
I have is a sister, but she's busy.
She's busy?
Mm-hmm.
She makes cakes and stuff like that.
And she just started a part-time job, so she is
Okay.
another question.
Okay. So, do y'all ever like go just for like a nature walk, even putting the baby in the stroller, or?
That's what we used to do quite a bit.
Okay. So, after y'all have dinner, of course, with you going to work early, you kind of get off early when it's still daylight. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I normally get home about 4:15.
Okay. So, would it be reasonable to say that maybe y'all could go for a walk when you first come home to help kind of...
And you're talking about like as soon as I come home, just change clothes and go for a walk?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's something Tony likes to do and that he wanted to get back into doing.
Okay, because as you know, exercising helps to alleviate the anxiety and the depression that we begin to feel. And as counselors, even the best of counselors need counselors. And of course, talking to your coworkers at work is not always a good solution because somebody's always overhearing something, and then, especially in a prison setting, there's inmate.com that kind of, you know. So, you guys tell me some solutions for y'all's, we've covered the cooking issue, what can be done for cooking, and laying out, with Mr. Wright laying out stuff, getting it thought out, doing kind of some of the prep work whenever he can before you come home. Then, you know, he and the baby be ready. You come home, switch clothes. Y'all go take a brisk walk, and that gives you an opportunity to completely unwind, spend some time with your family, and then you can come home and get started with the dinner. And then once y'all have dinner, you know, at that point, what steps can be done to help organize the baby and getting the cleaning done so that you two can spend some alone time together?
That doesn't ever happen. Normally after we do that, we just sit down as a family and we'll either watch a movie or Tony will be playing on his phone and me and Blaze will be in the bath.
Okay. So, while they're taking a bath and there's dinner dishes that needed to be cleaned, what is an option while they're taking a bath that you could do to help so that y'all could get the baby down so that y'all could have some alone time?
I guess I could wash dishes, but I do them like twice a day, so that's what makes it hard to do eventually. But I don't know. I help her get Blaze in the bath, and then after that, I let her have bonding time with him. That's why I go in there and just relax for a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she gets out of the bath and she washes dishes?
Sometimes. Not always.
While she's taking a bath, do you think you could do the dishes?
Something like that. Sometimes, maybe.
So what I'm hearing you say is that maybe sometimes you could help with the dishes while she's taking a bath with the baby. Am I hearing you correctly, sir? Right. Okay. So, Mrs. Wright, would the solutions that we've come up with today be very useful and helpful for you in helping you be able to feel more relaxed and comfortable so that you can unwind and maybe the marriage can not be quite so stressful?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I would like, because I am a Christian counselor, which I disclosed that to you during intake, I would like for you guys, as y'all's homework, to look up 1 Corinthians, verses 4 through 7. And it talks about love is patient, love is kind.
That's his favorite verse.
So I would like for you guys to go line for line and be ready to discuss what that means to you. Okay? So, do you guys have any further questions or anything for me today?
No, ma'am. That was
Okay.
it.
So, does Sunday at 2 o'clock work for you guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty. Well, you guys work on what we discussed today, and I'll see you guys back next Tuesday at 2 o'clock.
All right.
Alright. Thank you guys.